that all the things surrounding me, like my environment and all that, that's a projection of what's going on inside. Well, yeah, I mean that's of course when a person is depressed, their house looks like shit.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's their perspective at the time.
Right.
Um,
So I did a funny test. Maybe you or the audience can also try this. So when you're driving, and if you tell your mind you want to see red and yellow color, and then after you think that way or say that to yourself, then you're gonna see a lot of yellow and red. Try that.
yeah, I can. You know what? And what's funny about that too is that sometimes it happens like right away, and another
It will happen like in a couple seconds, and everywhere you look.
sometimes the delay button got pushed.
Yeah, every just well, right, like what you said last time. What's the seconds? Everything is
Yes.
already in the past. Yeah, that little minor, little time slot second.
I just wish I could bring into reality the good things as quickly as I can bring in negative things. It's like you have to work 10 times as hard to bring into reality those things we consider positive, as opposed to just almost thinking a thing
Yeah.
and it's a negative and it becomes a negative reality right away.
Yeah, I think that's also because we've been raised that way, or our surrounding telling us more negative. So we are embarking more that, let's say, 80 or 90%, and the positive is only 10%. So
And
that's right.
that sounds very true.
Yeah.
Think about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
because it's so hard. But in stating that, what for me that means in the background that negative tape is going far too often.
yeah.
So how do you switch that? It's that kind of switching takes enormous mental
Energy.
power.
Yes.
If you don't think so, anybody who doesn't think so, try it for a week, try it for a day,
Yes.
change your thinking completely. Because in order to do that, you're actually giving it a new habit. They
Hmm.
say any habit, good, bad, or indifferent, will
Right.
form 30 days if you keep doing the same thing.
Hmm.
Um, but I think trying to flip your thinking from that negative point where you don't even know it's a negative point,
Hmm.
uh, to flip it to a positive
Positive. Yeah.
purpose. I think that takes a great deal of will. You know,
Yes.
and not all of us have that will, but
Hmm.
now bringing us back to the spiritual aspect of it, if you
Hmm.
start it, I think the universe conspires with you to help you.
Yes.
It's not just wasted. It's not wasted unless you waste it, because you can embark on this thing, and after so often I think people get satisfied too easily by things
Yeah.
because it's a small victory. And by that same idea, it's people are uh, pushed aside. They'll abandon, doing new things because they don't see results right away.
Yes.
Well,
Exactly.
some of this stuff actually takes years to manifest. You know,
Hmm.
I love Instagram because it's like it's got all these cures for all these things that have been going on for the last 200-300 years or whatever, 2,000-3,000 years, uh, and now they have an instant cure, but the government doesn't know about it, or the government knows about it but is going to stop you because somehow whatever.
Yeah.
uh, it's it reminds me of a lot of the stories in the 70s. There was a lot of these that people had developed carburetors and things for cars that can make your car go 200 miles on a gallon of gas. I mean, just things that were improbable. But what happened is that they invented it, tried to get it patented, but one of the big three came in and swooped it up, and it's got to be quiet. It's just so often that happens.
Yeah, just like Nicholas Tesla's, a lot of his inventions got shut down, including.
Well, I'm being
iPhone.
facetious because these things didn't happen. I mean, nobody developed a carburetor that would make a car go 200 miles on a gallon of gasoline. The thing is, it becomes it just becomes folklore. It's all these things that people have said. I mean, I don't care where you live in the United States. As a teenager growing up, you heard the story about the couple that were parked, and some blah, 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 something happened, and the only thing that changed in that whole, and I'll call it a joke because all the specifics, I mean, down to the last detail, except for the name of the place where they were, or maybe the model of the car they were in. But it's those things that just keep going, Some of the same stories are being told today that were told when I was a teenager, about parking and the guy who murdered just all these weird things, But people believe it. It becomes a part. That's kind of how mythology works.
Yeah.
We all believe a certain thing, and we all believe the same thing, and you can be from different parts of the globe and never have talked before, but you share certain cultural things that seemingly you shouldn't even know about.
Yeah, because just use pyramid as an example. Every corner of the earth has a pyramid, but back then they're not communicating, right? But they all happen to build a pyramid structure.
I'm not so sure they didn't communicate. I'm not so sure. I mean,
to what we understand, there's no technology.
Well, there was no technology, but Thor Heyerdahl was an explorer. He took a reeded like canoe, and it was called the Kon-Tiki, and he was trying to prove that people could go from continents, one to another back in those old days, and they could sail. They could bring their knowledge, and I think that's what happened. I mean, what other than aliens explanation could you have, for the pyramids all doing the same thing, built on the same basis, using the same mathematics? They had to have communicated. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think they are more. They are more advanced technology than us.
No,
yeah. Somehow they I don't like I said, we don't know exactly what happened, but from what you said, they do communicate, and maybe their communication is not what we thought right now at this moment. Maya can communicate too. Like telepath. Like
I don't think that happened. I actually think that somebody from Egypt. In fact, that was one of the other exploratory events he did. He went from Egypt to I think it was Guatemala or South America, to prove that you could go there, from that distance in that time, going from point and a very long distance,
Yes.
To prove that it was possible that somebody could have gone from Egypt to South America or Central America and shared the ideas of pyramids and some of the beliefs.